Ciao photographers, with the busy season upon us, I understand that you're spending more time behind the screen editing rather than growing your business or recharging with your loved ones. But don't worry, in this video I'm going to show you a revolutionary solution that will transform your editing process. Editing large batches of photos like wedding galleries in Lightroom can be overwhelming. It's common to face varying exposures in photos taken seconds apart due to semi-automatic shooting modes on your camera, which mirror each shot individually, or it could be due to the mixed lighting conditions in which you are shooting. Adjusting each photo individually is time-consuming. Thankfully, Lightroom can simplify the task. The game-changing technique is to combine batch editing with match total exposures. With just one click, you can save hours of time and create cohesive galleries. Now let's witness the magic. I will show you how to use match total exposure feature in Lightroom, and you'll be amazed by the efficiency of batch editing. How to use match total exposure. So the first step is to choose an anchor image. An anchor image is simply a reference image. So you want to go into the develop module. You see here I am in the develop module. You edit the image that will be used as your anchor image, reference image. So you choose a photo and you adjust the exposure and all of the settings to your liking. The exposure on this image will set the tone for the entire set of images that we are going to edit. So the second step is to select the images, the batch of images that you want to batch edit. So the first image that you select should be the reference image or the anchor image. And then you can use Command or Contour to select all of the images that you want to apply the matched exposure. I am going to select all of these images, and then the third step is to batch sync. So the first step I do is just do a simple batch sync. From here you can use this button. I have a shortcut on my keyboard, so I'm going to use that one. I have synced settings, and now I'm going to use the match total exposure from the drop down menu. So the third step is to apply match total exposures. To do that, once you have selected all of your photos, you want to go to settings and click on match total exposures. I'm going to do that, and I'm also going to show you a shortcut that you can use. Before moving on with the editing process, I want to show you how I just simply gave a shortcut to the match total exposure feature, because to use that, the default shortcut that Lightroom created is Option Shift Command M. So you need to press 4 buttons on your keyboard for the match total exposure feature to be applied. I went into my system settings, I typed keyboard shortcuts. In there you can click on keyboard shortcuts and go to app shortcuts, see Adobe Lightroom Classic, and you can see from here you need to type in match total exposures, and I gave it a shortcut which is Command M. And then what I also did is that I went into my Shadow Pro V2 system settings, and I basically linked the shortcut to this button. So now when I'm editing, I just need to click this button to sync the settings, and this button here down below to match total exposures. So this is very fast for me because it's just 1-2 clicks and I am done with my batch editing. I have more information about this tool and shortcuts in my editing course, so I'm not going to explain more in this video. I'll make more videos, or you can check my editing course, which is very helpful. Okay, now let's move on with the editing process. I am checking what the batch editing did to these images. I am completely satisfied with these first images. I might want to slightly tweak the last one because I see that it's slightly darker compared to the rest of the images, and especially compared to the reference image. You can see that better here. You can see that her dress is a bit darker than the reference image. But when I check how these two images are cohesive, I feel like I want to tweak the image on the right, and then once I have fine-tuned this image, I am going to use this one as my reference image to do a batch editing from this image to all of these images. So I'm going to edit a batch of 16 images, just fine-tuning the edits on the first one and then syncing the settings and matching total exposures to the rest of this batch. And I'm going to just go in and fine-tune the edits on those images that could be slightly tweaked to improve the quality of the edit. For example, I can already see that this image was not cropped as it should be. So I'm going to fine tune these edits, but it's going to take me seconds. And then I'm going to repeat the process with this image here, which I have already done. Yes, I have already done that. I'm going to show you from here. So these two images I fine-tuned. I basically synced the settings, fine-tune the edits on this one to better match the anchor image, my previous reference image. And then from here, I'm going to select this one first, my reference image. I'm going to select the batch of images. Let's pretend that I already know that I want to fine tune this image because we are slightly changing lighting situations. So the match total exposures works best when we have similar lighting conditions and locations. So I already know that I will want to fine tune this image, but for now, just to show you, I'm going to batch edit up until here. So I'm going to sync the settings. Sorry, I'm not in the develop panel. Sync the settings and match total exposures. It's now done. Let's see how these images turned out. Now it's going to show us what it has done to these images. Okay, so let's check how these images turned out. If I'm going to zoom in, I can already see that these images, I might want to recenter composition, straighten a few images, but as far as consistency to my photographer's editing style and cohesiveness, I am satisfied. I'm going to fine tune few images just because I am a perfectionist. I can totally see that these are great. And this one I want, again, I'm going to repeat the process. I'm going to fine tune the edit, making this image better matching my previous reference images. And then from this image, I am just going to paste the settings up until here and match exposures. And then I'm going into each singular images very quickly, fine-tuning the cropping, the straightening, and making sure that I'm consistently matching to my reference image. I'm going to show you how I do that. I basically just lock the image to my second screen and then I move to the next image and I just check. I also like to zoom in, especially when we have large group of photos, and I just move to the next image, checking cohesiveness, consistency, etc. For example, I already knew that I wanted to straighten this image, center this image, because I know my photographer client likes that. Once I'm happy with the image, I move forward to the next one, fine-tune this one, and repeat the process. I hope that was clear. In conclusion, batch editing and match total exposures in Lightroom are a total game changer for photographers. It not only saves you hours of time, but it also allows you to achieve more cohesiveness in your large wedding galleries and also make sure that you stay consistent to your unique editing style. So no more hours spent behind the screen editing each individual photo, and welcome to a more streamlined workflow. So I challenge you to try batch editing in Lightroom to edit your photos and improve your editing workflow. I have an entire course dedicated to that. It is linked in the description box below, and I also have more Lightroom hacks and tutorials linked down below in my free editing guide. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Ciao!
I would say we were good together.